Forging ahead. Zoe, you lost already.
Yeah,
Forging ahead with PO23.
No.
This entire unit has been leading up to the graphing of equations. We started with just functions in general. Then we went to linear functions. And remember, linear means that what? What do linear functions go hand in hand with? Josie? They're straight lines, which means they have arrows on each end, which means the line has...
Never
Can I have another chance?
Tomorrow, maybe.
Never mind.
It starts with an S.
Oh, slope?
Slope, okay? If a function is linear, it has slope. If a function has slope, it is linear. Okay? They go hand in hand. One cannot exist without the other, right? So we are graphing equations in slope-intercept form, also standard form, which is where the conversion comes in here. But everything that you get on the coordinate plane should be aligned. Okay? They're all linear functions. The 3 steps to graph a linear equation. Number 1, you need to write the equation in slope-intercept form, which, if you recall, is the one that is y equals mx plus b. This is the graphing form of an equation, y equals mx plus b. So if it's in standard form, then it needs to be rewritten into slope-intercept form, which is why we had PO22 to convert back and forth. Okay, PO22 leads directly into PO23. Once you have it in slope-intercept form, who remembers what we do first here? Here's a hint, where do we begin? With B, right? Girls, quiet please. Not youth this time, the two in the back. You begin by plotting the y-intercept, which is the b variable. Begin by plotting the y-intercept, which is the b variable. And then after you have that intercept plotted, what do you do next? You need to put the make away, okay, and take the notes on it. Okay. You do what? Move. How do you move? What do you use to move? What variable is the m? The slope. Okay? You move with rise over run, which is slope, and is the m variable. Okay? You start by plotting the y-intercept, and then you move. Remember, slope is not a location. It's not an ordered pair. It's how the line moves across the coordinate plane. So you move with rise over run, which is the m variable slope. You did this last year, so this should be a review. The added piece this year is now we also have some equations that are in standard form that first must be converted to slope-intercept form. So last year, you only had to know steps 2 and 3, right? This year, if it's in standard form to begin with, you then have to convert it to slope-intercept form first. That's the only difference between this year and last year. So let's start with the slope-intercept form equations. Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. What is the slope of this equation? Actually, let's start with b, because that's where we plot first. Let's do it in the correct order here. What is the b value? What is the y-intercept of that equation? Yeah. Positive 3. And you get that from 0, 3, right? The b value there. So your first point is going to go at 0, 3. This is the b, positive 3. And so you plot your point. Then you move using slope. What is the slope? What is the m value? Mia? 1/2, 1/2, which is not an ordered pair, right? It doesn't have parentheses, doesn't have a comma. It's not an ordered pair. It's how the line moves, rise over run. So from that y-intercept, we're going up 1 on the y-axis, right 2 on the x-axis, and there's your second point. Make sure you're moving to the right, up and right, because it's positive. If it was negative, it's down and right. Okay? Positive, up and right, negative, down and right. Then connect the points with a line, arrows on each end to show it goes on forever. That's linear. and you have your graph. That was good timing. Try the next one while I answer this one here. Yellow has Mrs. Field lost control. Okay. Yes. Yes. Tatum also asked. Okay. Bye. All right. The next one. What is our B? What's our y-intercept here? 0, 5. Okay, positive 5. And what is our slope? How are we moving here? What'd you say? Not 3 over 1. You got half of the negative 3 over 1. Remember, if slope is not a fraction, make it a fraction, right? A number without a denominator is just that over 1, negative 3 over 1. Which means we're going down 3 on the y-axis and then right 1 on the x-axis. So positive 5 for the y-intercept. That's where we begin, our first point. Down 3, right 1. And there we have our second point. Not down and left. Okay, a negative slope does not mean down and left. It means down. But you still go to the right, and your line should look like that. Okay. And the reason why it's not down and left is because if you have a point here and you go down and to the left, what type of slope does a line like that have? Going up from left to right, what type of slope is that? Positive, right? Positive slope goes up from left to right. Our slope's negative, which means it has to go down from left to right. So it's not down and left. Down and left actually, it kind of contradicts itself there a little bit. You want to go down and right, and that gives that negative slope. Penelope. Sorry? Yeah. We're about to tackle standard form, but go quickly. Okay. Let's talk about let's do the next one too. Y equals negative 4/3 x minus 1. Try yourself first. Identify the slope. Identify the y-intercept, plot that b, begin with b, and then move with m. And we'll see how we do. That negative sign in front of the 1 matters. It means your y-intercept is negative. 0, negative 1. And then for the slope, it is negative 4/3. Which means it's very similar to the one before it, as far as the direction that we're counting and everything like that. So 0, negative 1 on the y-axis. That's our first point. That's our y-intercept. And then we move negative 4/3 down 4, right 3. Down 4, right 3. There we have it. Your line should look like that. Success?
Yep.
Second row? Good? Back row? Penelope?
Yeah.
Good. Mr. Olink?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Questions? Okay. The third row, or the second row, has got one that tends to trip people up a little bit. In fact, the next 2 rows do. In this one here, y equals x plus 2. What's our slope? In y equals x plus 2, what is the slope, Maya? It is, yeah. If there's no number before a coefficient, it's like we have one of them, because multiplying x by 1 is still x. It doesn't change the value, right? You can multiply anything by 1. It's the same thing. So the slope is 1 over 1. Okay, 1 over 1. And then the other one that tends to trip people up is in the second page that y equals 3/5 x. 3/5 x. What's the y-intercept here? What's the b value?
Wait, 1?
It's not 1.
0?
It's 0.
Yeah.
Okay? Because putting a 1 before a coefficient doesn't change the value because 1 times x is still x. But if I add 1 to this, that changes the value. It makes it 1 greater, right? With addition and subtraction, adding 0 is what doesn't change the value. So when there's no y-intercept written, it means it's 0. It's at the origin because adding 0 doesn't change the value of the equation. When there's no number before the x, it's a 1 because 1 times x is still x. If there's no y-intercept written, it's a 0 because 3/5 x plus 0 is still 3/5 x. So just watch out for that. Okay. Then the second part of this is graphing equations that are given to you in standard form. So here's where PO22 comes right back at you. Okay. You have to convert this first. You have to rewrite this in slope-intercept form before you can graph it. So which one on the top row would you like to do together? Which one gives the most heebie-jeebies? Tristan?
The 30x minus 10y.
Third one? Okay. I'm going to scroll this up just a little bit so I got... Oh, no, it's fine. Okay. So 30x minus 10y equals 50. If you remember how to convert this, our first step is to move that x term over. This is straight out of PO22. Okay? Nothing changes with the conversion from standard form to slope-intercept form. We start by moving our 30x over by subtracting 30x from both sides. That cancels those out. And we're left with negative 10y equals negative 30x plus 50. Right? We can't combine 50 and 30x. One has the x, the other one doesn't. That x term is written first because it's slope-intercept form now. That's what we're going to. So negative 10y equals negative 30x plus 50. What's our second step?
Divide?
By what?
Negative 10.
Divide by negative 10, right? Divide by negative 10, divide by negative 10, divide by negative 10. So the equation you're actually graphing here in slope-intercept form, the negative 10s cancel out. I'm going to write it. Don't pay attention to that right now. Don't cross it out on your page. I'm just going to write it below it here. But y is by itself. Negative 30 divided by negative 10, does that divide evenly? It does. What is it?
Negative 3.
Nope. Positive 3, right? Negative divided by a negative is a positive. So negative 30 divided by negative 10 is a positive 3. And then 50 divided by negative 10 is negative 5. Thank you. Okay? And so this is the equation that you're actually going to graph now. In many ways, step one, if you have to do it, it's the hardest part, getting it into slope-intercept form. Because now that it's in the slope-intercept form, here's your b, negative 5. Right? Our slope, 3 over 1. We're going up 3 over 1. There's your line. We graphed that in about a quarter of the time it took to put it in slope-intercept form in the first place. So these last 6 are the ones that are most time-consuming because they require you to put it in a slope-intercept form first. Okay? Once you get there, it's just y-intercept, slope. Questions on that one? Yes, visual link.
If you add a negative 30x to both sides, don't you end up with negative 30 divided by negative 10?
Yes. Which is what this is right here. Maybe my sign isn't very, very big. But yeah.
Yeah.
Negative 30 divided by negative 10. Yep.
Okay, I'm with you.
Anything else? Okay. What's one on the bottom row that looks worth our time to do together here? First one? Because Numbers are scary? Yeah, for sure. Okay. Our process is no different. 65x minus 26y equals 156. First step, we got to convert it to slope intercept form. So we have to move the 65x over. We do that by subtracting. Minus 65x minus 65x. On the left side, they cancel out. We're left with negative 26y. Our x term is written first, so it's negative 65x, and our positive 156 comes second. And now, divide by negative 26. Everything gets divided by negative 26. In the interest of time here, I do want to get your test back before we leave here. The negative 26's cancel out. Y is by itself. That's the point. Negative 65 over negative 26. Yikes. What's the GCF of 65 and 26? Anyone know? What can you divide that by to simplify it? 13. 13 goes into 65 5 times and 26 twice. So the negative signs cancel out. And then 65 divided by 13 is 5. 26 divided by 13 is 2. So you end up with the slope 5 halves x. And then 156 divided by negative 26 is a negative 6. So y equals 5 halves x minus 6 is what you're actually graphing. But again, it required that conversion to slope intercept form first. So negative 6 goes our point. Our slope, 5 over 2, up 5 over 2, puts it right here. And there's the line. The value of slope intercept form. It's easy to graph. You just have to get it there first. Your assignment for tomorrow is the rest of PO23, front or first page and second page. And then we'll tackle PO24 tomorrow. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, compliments, congratulations, criticisms? Okay, that's our math.